my chicken feed on the cheap and completely organic. Anybody that's raised chickens knows that it can be a cost to keep it fed. So I did a little research on the internet. I found out about sprouting grains, and I decided to go with barley. So I picked up some certified organic barley feed from Hamill's Feed Store in Milton, Wisconsin here. And what we're going to do is just basically take this feed, we're going to soak it overnight, and then rinse it on a daily basis in about 8 days. You'll see it go from the grain to beautiful chicken feed. So what we do is we get a growing bin, figure out your growing bin. I started with this. I actually started with one half this size, and when I realized it was working, I immediately doubled my output. It takes about 2 cans of this for me to get a ½ an inch of wet seed on the bottom, which is also about 3 pounds. So we start by simply scooping into an empty bucket the amount we need. Now, it's a good idea to rinse this by simply drilling holes in the bottom of the bucket, rinse it off, because you can see some dust fly up there and whatnot. But we'll then soak this. I do this overnight. I'll fill it up anywhere from between 7 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock at night, and I'll take care of it the next morning anywhere between 7 o'clock in the morning and 9 o'clock in the morning. So 10 to 12 hours, soak it, and then we'll show you what we do next. Now here we are on the other side of our room. You ideally want to have a place to grow in the 60 to 70 degrees. I found that it sprouts a little taller, closer to 70 degrees, so that's what we try to keep this room at. I've seen people do it in their basement on YouTube. There's all kinds of videos on there. One gentleman took PVC pipe, made a shelving system in his spare shower. This is what we came up with. We've got $25 greenhouse racks here, and it takes about 8 to 9 days. Anywhere from 5 to 9 days is when you can feed it, but we grow ours out to day 9 is when the chickens get fed. And you can see what we ultimately end up with here. But what we've got is the seeds that I soaked from last night. I had these soaking for about 12 hours now. It's just the barley. I didn't rinse these. I don't most times, unfortunately, but so we take this stuff. I'm going to pull this out. This is feed for the chickens for the day. I just weighed this. This weighs about 13 pounds. So I've got just over a 4-to-1 ratio of dry organic barley grain into organic barley grass. Took my cost of feed from about 37 cents a pound feeding them crumble down to about 7.5 cents a pound feeding them completely natural, homegrown barley grass. We'll set that aside for a second. Pull out the clean bucket. I rinse these every night. I clean the holes to make sure. You see what we do is we put drain holes on one end, and then when they're on the rack, they alternate so that they drain all the way down, and then we've got a drain bucket down on the bottom to catch it. I reuse that water. It starts to get a little stinky, but that doesn't matter to me. It's a good smell, I think. But you'll see in a second, I just reuse that water to put that back in there. But we take our clean bucket, put the holes on the lower end, of course, and then our barley that we've had soaked for the night, and simply dump it in. I found that it's not too sensitive. You can put your hands in there, you can squish it around, move it around in the bin. But then you set it like that and you see that it rinses, and it's immediately going down there, obviously, and it's rinsing anything below it. That water's already saturated down there, so I won't need to put any more water in that. But I do need to water the ones above it. So I take my the same coffee can I use to put the dry grain in, and I just simply go down here and I scoop it out, 1 can at a time, and just like that. And then you'll see that go drain there. When it's not a fresh bin, I generally put about a can in every level. Just like that. Just enough to let it go down, soak all the roots that have come up, and then it drains down. And then I got to do the other side here. And I'll start at the top, of course, so as much water drains down as possible. Just make sure they get a nice rinse. You can see the water draining down there already. So we do this twice a day. In the morning, they get the fresh ones in there, so that water gets cycled in there, but at night we come up, and when we soak that barley, we also go through and rinse this. So these seeds all get rinsed twice a day. I started out actually doing it 3 times a day, but I saw no benefit, so we went back to the twice a day. And you can see, start over here. This is the stuff that we put in here yesterday. So this has got on the seeds, there's going to be little white sprouts on the end that's just starting to come out. You see those there. Okay, and then here would be the day before that. Now if you look at them, you can see there's little hairs shooting out. And it just gets a little more advanced each day. This would be a day 3. You can see there's a few shoots starting to pop up there. Day 4, you can see I really can't grab it, but it's not quite all matted together. It pulls up a little bit because there's sprouts, but it's starting to intertwine all those roots down there. Day 5 here, you can see I can grab this and start to lift that up. And it's really amazing to watch it in 12 hours from the morning rinse to the night rinse, how much it'll go up. Because here's a day 6 then, you can see I can grab this. This is day 7, it's getting that much longer. And this is a day 8, actually technically morning of 9. But this is what we end up with then, is a nice patch of barley grass, and it's all matted together. So I've got about 13 pounds. I feed half of this to my chickens in the morning and then half of it to them in the afternoon. So what I do is I just get another empty 5-gallon bucket and I break this up in chunks. And I just throw it in this 5-gallon bucket. See there, it all wants to stick together. But you can see there's seeds in there yet. It's all matted together. Just a big root mat is what they call it. Nice long pieces of grass. It's funny to watch the chickens eat it because they'll have grass literally hanging out of their mouth like they're a drunken sailor or something. But we take about half of this out, just like that. It ends up being a nice 5-gallon bucket full of fresh barley grass. Now we'll go feed the chickens. Okay. Now for the fun part. We get to feed the chickens.